Are you looking for top 10 most beautiful palaces in the world? Once domestic to kings and queens, palaces had been constructed now no longer best to behave as royal houses, however to venture energy and prestige. As such, monarchs and emperors vied with one another, commissioning lavish summertime season houses and assembling fantastic artwork collections with which to fill their infinite halls and royal chambers. Besides the spectacular structure and works of art, the previous royal houses additionally boast suitable grounds and gardens with masses of gorgeous fountains and flower beds on display. Due to their substantial artistic, cultural, and historic value, those lovely palaces now make for a number of the maximum famous traveler points of interest and museums round. Here is the list of 10 most beautiful palaces in the world. 10. Buckingham Palace, one of the maximum well-known and photographed homes on earth. Buckingham Palace in London has lately been the house of the British monarchs, originally constructed in 1703 to be a huge townhouse. Over the years, it became slowly enlarged and redesigned, with its well-known facade brought in 1911. In total, the palace boasts 775 rooms, with a lot of them replete with gorgeous fixtures, fantastic paintings, and age-antique statues. Of those, the maximum superb are the staterooms. These are open to the general public every August and September and are in which journeying heads of kingdom live while in London. 9. Schonbrunn Palace, lying at the outskirts of Vienna. Schonbrunn Palace is one of the maximum famous traveler points of interest with inside the entire of Austria, painted a heat yellow color. The suitable Rococo Palace became as soon as the summertime season house of the Habsburgs, with Emperor Franz Joseph I born there, while best 40 of its 1,441 rooms are open to the general public. Those are extravagantly decorated, with lovely ballrooms on display along resplendent and delicate works of art, tapestries, and sculptures. 8. Potala Palace, set in an indefinitely epic area atop of Marpolrai Hill with inside the center of Lhasa Valley. Potala Palace has lately been one of the maximum vital and superb monuments with inside the entire of Tibet. Once the iciness house of the Dalai Lamas, the Pudding Crimson and White Palace became erected in 1649. Despite the fact that in advanced variations have stood with inside the equal spot in view that at the least the 7th century, the giant edifice incorporates over 10,000 shrines, with greater than 200,000 statues notioned to be dotted round its hallowed halls and ceremonial chambers, with towering mountains growing all round it. Potala Palace makes for an awe-inspiring sight and is a long-lasting image of Tibetan Buddhism. 7. Chateau de Chambord, nestled away within inside the Loire Valley. Chateau de Chambord is absolutely one of the pinnacles of French Renaissance structure, commissioned with the aid of using Francis I to be a searching lodge. Its intricate and spellbinding layout proudly show off the monarch's gorgeous wealth and energy, although tons of its incredible fixtures had been stripped and eliminated following the French Revolution. Site visitors can nevertheless experience wandering round its stylish halls and chambers. All in all, the chateau's turrets and towers make for a marvelous sight, mainly while contrasted with the plush lawns and reflective moat that lie round it. 6. Hawa Mahal, famed for its intricate and ornate facade, Hawa Mahal delightfully interprets to the Palace of Winds in English, completed in 1799. Its quite pillars, appealing arches, and dignified domes are more often than not common out of the outstanding crimson and crimson sandstone that Jaipur is so famed for, while the palace has a few lovable homes and courtyards for site visitors to explore, in addition to an incredible archaeological museum. It smiles its honeycomb-like outside that draws the maximum attention. Set over 5 floors, the lovely bays with their colored glass home windows and complicated latticework appearance notable and are the spotlight of any go-to to the palace. 5. Topkapi Palace, set in a lovely spot at the banks of the Bosphorus. It's miles from Topkapi Palace that the sultans used to rule over the Ottoman Empire. Built in 1459 on the command of Mehmet the Conqueror, the palace boasts masses of ornamented and ostentatious rooms, which characteristic a few outstanding Islamic artwork and structure. Besides its breathtaking halls and courtyards, there also are the glittering gemstones and jewels of the imperial treasury for site visitors to test out, in addition to the infinite and indulgent flats of the imperial harem. Now a spectacular museum, Topkapi Palace is one in every of Istanbul's maximum famous traveler points of interest. Palace of Versailles. Although Versailles commenced out as an easy searching lodge, it become one of the finest and grandest palaces ever visible below Louis XIV, the Sun King decorated and enlarged it earlier than sooner or later turning it into his royal house and the seat of his government. Although a lot of its maximum treasured works of art and treasures had been eliminated and positioned within inside the Louvre following the French Revolution, enormous renovations and restorations have visible the palace lower back to its former glory, now one of the maximum famous traveler points of interest in France. Every year, hundreds of thousands of human beings come to peer its luxurious royal flats. In addition to the glittering Hall of Mirrors and Royal Opera, in addition, its superb gardens with their incredible fountains and flowerbeds also are nicely exploring. 3. Alhambra, perched atop a plateau overlooking Granada. Alhambra has lately been one of the maximum famous and recognizable palaces on earth, built with the aid of using the Nasrid sultans within inside the 13th century. The huge, complicated, proudly famous, plenty of definitely fantastic and illusion structure with complicated designs and motifs anywhere you appearance, wandering round its lovely gardens, robust fortifications, and colonnade-covered courtyards is a delight, at the same time as the Museum of Fine Arts has a gorgeous series of works of art for sight visitors to peruse. Among the various highlights are the magnificently carved columns and quite pavilions of the Court of the Lions and the lovingly cared for flora and fountains of general life, with the majestic Sierra Nevada mountains mendacity with inside the historical past and verdant bushes growing round its beige partitions. Alhambra surely makes for a memorable sight. 2. Winter Palace. Once the house of the Russian Tsars, the Winter Palace now homes the world well-known Hermitage Museum. Built in an Elizabethan Baroque style, it's reputedly unending and experienced, and white partitions are stated to residents over 1,500 rooms, with every of them ornately designed and decorated. The length and scale of the palace, now no longer to say the lovely artwork and structure on display, flawlessly showcases the energy and may of imperial Russia. The monarchy and empire got here crashing down. However, in 1917, while the Winter Palace became stormed in one of the determining occasions of the Russian Revolution, nowadays, the palace and museum are one of the highlights of any go to St. Petersburg. 1. Forbidden City. Ever because it became constructed in 1406, the Forbidden City has ruled and described the middle of Beijing. In addition to China itself, the imperial domestic of emperors from each the Ming and Qing dynasties, it became from right here that they dominated over their enormous empire, set over a large vicinity covered with the aid of using an excessive wall and huge moat. The palace complicated encompasses a few 980 distinct homes. These show off plenty of notable Chinese palatial structure, with the Hall of Supreme Harmony and Palace of Heavenly Purity simply of its must-see attractions. Since the abdication of the ultimate emperor in 1925, the Forbidden City has been sorted with the aid of using the Palace Museum, which has an amazing array of works of art and artifacts for sight visitors to experience, the fruits of over 1,000 years of Chinese and East Asian artwork and structure. The Forbidden City is one of the maximum vital and superb attractions in now no longer best Beijing. However, China